So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So basically in today's video we're going to be talking about the paper 1 exam. So exams already started already and most of the paper 2s them run off, right? And you have few left back, but we're gonna approach the paper 1. So how do you prepare for the paper 1? Because basically we said before that the paper 2 that was worth the most marks, it's the written paper, the long paper that you have to do. With the paper 1s, they are usually either 1 hour and 15 minutes or 1 hour and 30 minutes for the paper 1s, right? So you already finish your paper 2s, and whether you do good or not, whether you write something or you never write something, you still have to do the paper 1, right? And there is hope if you can really, alright, you see, if you're going to the paper 2 and just not do nothing, then that's just you and God for how your final grade are going to be. But you see, if you're going to the paper 2 them and you know you did do half a paper, like you're sure it's at least half correct, you don't know about the other half, you know, but at least half correct, you might still have a chance, right? And that is why you have to put everything into the paper 1 if you try to score as much marks from the paper 1, right? So yeah. Alright, so you know that the paper 1s, they're usually 1 hour and 15 minutes or 1 hour and 30 minutes, right? And it's 60 MCQ for all subjects as far as I know, because I'm gonna think them change it. So it's 60 MCQ. Now the secret to passing paper 1s is past papers, right? So the past papers, but at the same time, we just want to put this disclaimer out there that do not 100% rely on just the past papers, right? Now at the same time, alright, since you've already done the paper 2, it means that you must have did like some kind of studying, you know what I mean? You did obviously have to study a little for the paper 2. So going into the paper 1, I hope so some of the knowledge you did study for the paper 2 come within the paper 1. But if not, I'm gonna tell you what is what. So me not gonna encourage nobody say just go in the paper 1 and don't study at all completely. Me would just do it like that. But at the same time, you going and you studying just like you study from a textbook or notes or whatever, going into the paper 1 is also still not the correct way to prepare for the paper 1. The paper 1 has MCQ, multiple choice, and I think everybody know by now, say they do repeat, right? They do repeat. Now, I think maybe what the year when we did the CSEC, I guess that year for IT, that particular subject, I think I never did get to do as much past papers as I did like. I guess if I did just a school out class in the entire grade 10 grade 11, I probably could answer fewer questions because as I say, I never did get to do a lot, or I never get to do as much past papers as me would want. So basically me have to draw for my knowledge and as to what to shade on the paper 1. And just so you know that with the paper 1 exams you have to bring a pencil because it's going to have you're going to have a bubble sheet that you shade, right? A bubble sheet that you're going to shade in. So ensure you have your H2B pencil. Ensure when you're shading, you just shade the surface, press down on the pencil, right? And if you should erase anything, erase it properly. You don't want when the machine mark the something, it's going to pick up 2 answers and then you just scrap your answer completely because the 2 shading to pick up. So you should erase it properly. But for the paper 1, that year I did do it the IT, but I did already know, I didn't know what the answer be. But it's just that I never said the question before. So going into the exam, if you are doing your past papers, also be prepared to see questions that you probably never seen before. And if you've been paying attention in the subject, you probably can choose A, B, C, D, choose the correct answer. Now, let's just say you weren't paying attention the entire school year, then you have to do your little mini more, right? If you just don't know the answer completely. That is why people recommend doing past papers. Now on YouTube, there are past paper videos that you can watch. Different subject. Like, I think all subjects are on YouTube, but majority of it, at least a popular CSEC subject like maths and English, you might can find IT and stuff like that. So you can search for the social studies. You can find the more popular subjects, HSB, biology, chemistry, physics. You can find the more popular one them on YouTube. Utilize that, use it. So go on the video them, because it's not enough to just have the past paper questions, because some people might just say, oh, me have some past paper, but it don't make no sense to have the past paper if you don't have the answer them, because you can see the exam on the past paper, pick wrong answer, and when the exam go to pick back the same wrong answer, right? We go pick before. So my advice is to watch the past paper videos on YouTube where the teachers actually tell you what the answer is. So when you see the question, you can pick the answer. And it's something when we do in a college, in a one psychology course, cognitive psychology, we say the brain learns. Like, that's what psychology say, that we learn. Basically, it says that we learn more from multiple choice. So when students get tested at MCQ, they learn more, because if you're ever going to an exam and you've seen the question before and it's like your eye just immediately catch the answer, right? Like, you just scan through it and you just see the answer and you just circle, boom. But at the same time, when you're going into the exam, what CXC can do is shuffle the answers. So you might have A, B, C, and D. Let's just say that, right? And let's just say the answer, you didn't know the answer, did our A. When I'm going in the exam, the answer A, what you know is the answer, the D, because CXC just shuffle it. So don't fall into the trap and study the letters them and say, me know this question, the answer they top. Pay look upon what the answer actually is. And people actually go into the exam and just work with what they mean at the letters them, where they say, oh, me know say A for that one or whatever. Read what the answer is. So when you watch a past videos them, don't just say, oh, me realize say the teacher pick A or whatever. Really look at it and say, you know what, okay, regional integration, right? Look at the actual answer. Don't just focus on the letter or the position where the answer come, right? Because CXC will shuffle them. If there's the same question, CXC will shuffle them, so don't be fooled. So watch the past paper videos, you can actually get the answer, right? Now, doing 1 year of past papers now gonna make you know the entire paper where you come, right? Now we don't know the paper where you come, right? But CXC has the reputation of repeating the questions them, right? And when they repeat the questions, it's not like, oh, they're gonna take the 2024 paper and just copy and paste it back from 2025. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna shuffle. When them shuffle, and you might see a couple questions from 2015 come back, you might see a couple questions from 2016 pop out, couple from 2018, couple from 2019, completely random. So that is why when you're preparing, you cannot say, oh, but let's go watch the 2023 and the 2024 past paper question them and just do that. Maybe just learn the answer them for them there. Me not do anything. Me not do 2018 or 2019 or 2020. Me not do them 1 year. That you would be a fool. Honestly, you would be a fool. If that is your only study strategy going into the exam, you would win 2023 and 2024 now save you. So unless you know, so you studied, because technically what CXC would have liked is not for you, go study past paper questions. Them actually what you learn and, know the stuff. But let's just say most of the time that don't happen. Most of the time, people probably, people in the past, you said them probably learn maybe half their material. The other half, blowing at the wind gone. So you going into the exam, don't feel like, oh, I'm just watch 2023 and 2024, I'm good for the exam. If that is your only study strategy for prepare, or if that is the only preparation strategy you're going at paper 1 way, then that's not a good strategy. If let's just say you did already study the entire syllabus, and let's just say your confidence you did bad, and when I say bad, I mean good. It's like your confidence you did bad up the paper 2 exam. Your confidence, me did study everything, me could answer everything, Panny. If you feel so confident in the knowledge where you have, where you study, and you're going at the paper when you can say to yourself, say, you know what? But it's like me only go do like 2 years, because I feel like, say, even if we don't see the questions, then we can answer it, right? And that would be a person who would probably aim for like a distinction, and probably say, listen, study the whole syllabus, me ready for this. Past paper, no pass paper, we can answer this, right? But majority of us is not like that. So we have to do what we can, we have to, I don't want to use the word cheat, but you have to just go around the system, right? Because technically, whatever they ask you in that paper 1, you're supposed to be able to answer it from your brain or from your knowledge we learn throughout the subject, throughout the grade 10 and grade 11, technically, but that not most of the time anyway. But basically, past paper questions. So you need to do more than 1 year. So don't just say, oh, I do 2023 and 2024, I'm good for my exam. You'd be a fool, honestly. If that is your only strategy going in there, you would be a fool. Now, me say if you study, if you know, so you're confident in the subject, you know everything, you can go and go to the exam without even any past papers, because since you have the knowledge, you will be able to pick the correct answer either way. Though bear in mind that sometimes in MCQs they will get two answers were very close. So you can't make that tricky. Because you might then say, I know I said this apartheid and you see two answers were very close. So that is why I would say watch your past paper videos. Because if you book up on a question or questions and the answers them is like to you in your mind, you say any one of them here could have been the answer in your mind. Because some questions can be like that. Some of them the options or the answers are far apart. You can't easily say these are the answer. Them they're completely out of the way, right? But in some of them, they might give you two, especially English. Like I feel like when we do English, like two of the answer them very close. Like when we do the paper for English, like there we have like two answers but close. And you have to really sit down and reason it out, you know. So in situations like that, I would say watch the past paper videos, and get the correct answer with the teacher show up on them something, right? And also as we talk about eliminating on MCQs, you should use the process of elimination. So as I said before, if you're going there, just never study, you know, do not pass paper, do nothing. You have to go use the process of elimination. And even if you did study or you did some past papers and you still somehow buck up on a question where you just never see before, you have to go sit down and reason out the question and say, alright, me know. So the first, when you're doing the process of elimination, the first thing you do is cross out the one that could never be the answer. When you look upon it, it is far off from everything else, right? And you just try and narrow it down and say, you know what, that one you probably can't go to. This doesn't make no sense. And then you're left with the two, right? And when you're left with the two, you have to really use your judgment, or what some people do is any, many, more, and whatever one you land pan, you go with that, right? Whatever your instinct tell you to do, you choose that one, right? That is if you don't know the answer. Because if you know the answer, you don't need to go through all of that. Just pick the answer, right? But one thing I will say, as me talk about pick the answer, always read all the options them. That one thing. You see like how you are prepared and you have to do the past paper questions them. When you read the question, just put a little that I think you can write on the paper, right? But listen, when you write on the paper, just ensure you share the correct thing on the bubble sheet, right? But me talk about rough work when you are reading out the paper one them. So when you do it, what I'm trying to say is put a little that or look, just make a little marking on the one, like when you first see the question, like just underline the one you feel like the answer from the bat. But read all the options then. Read all the options and because some people might go in there and then jump to conclusion, right? Because that happened to me before, and at first glance it would have looked like say this is the answer. But when you read all the options then you realize that there's another answer will make even more sense, right? And in situations like that, you probably never see that question on a MCQ or whatever, right? So read all the options then, right? But at the same time, before you start answering anything, highlight the one or underline the one where you think are the right one first. And the reason I said do this at first glance when you first read the question is so you don't get confused. Because sometimes at first glance you see the answer. For the other one them now, you might need to set yourself say, when you start with the other one, you might get confused or mixed up. So that's highlight the one where you think first off the bat and read the other options. If they don't make no sense, you move on, right? And bear in mind that the exam is timed. So you have 60 minutes, right? Not 60 minutes, 60 questions and 1 hour and 15 or 1 hour and 30 minutes, right? So it means some questions you're probably going to spend longer on than others, but just be mindful of the time that you're taking, right? Just be mindful of the time that you're taking on that exam, right? So you're not supposed to spend 10 minutes on one question. I mean one MCQ. That can happen. No matter how long you want to spend on it, don't do that. Say is just be mindful. Just be mindful about the time that you're spending. When I remember if they usually tell you like when you have an hour left or so or whatever, right? Or they might say you're already gone half an hour, but pay attention to the times. There are 60 questions. When you're answering those questions, my advice, don't ever leave anything blank. When I'm doing MCQs, it's like this. So when I'm going through it, or what are there? Let me just explain. So when I'm doing MCQs, let's just say that maybe 10 questions or maybe 7 questions on one page, right? And I'm doing the bubble sheet. What I would do is if I book up on a question and I cannot answer it, I will pass it, right? But right, I will pass it. So if there are several questions on a paper on one page, and let's just say question 2, I'm not really sure, I will answer all the other questions up until 7, and then come back to number 2 before I flip the page, right? And that is really to just prevent me from missing that question completely, right? Or yeah, that's basically what I do. Or what I would do is, like, on a bubble sheet, I would put like a very fade, like, mark it, like a fade line beside the question, very fade line, just so that when I'm done, I don't forget that I did not answer that question, right? So it's either one or the other. That's usually what I do, right? Or what I would do is, for example, if question 2 that give me a problem, I might just minimal process of elimination, use something, just put an answer there. Because sometimes, especially because it's 60 questions, students get the paper and they might go through the 60 questions is a lot, right? It's a lot of questions to read. So by the time you reach 40, you forget you did even left number 2. You forget that you even left number 2. And by your day 55, then say time up and you just shade quick, right? You just do your shade quick. Then say 1 minute left, and you just put in 56, 57, 58, 59 randomly, right? You might even just do that if you time up on you. But my advice, don't leave anything blank. If you're doing questions on a page, before you move on to the next page, answer it. Just shade one answer. Just process of elimination, pick an answer. Because by the time you get to question 40, you might forget that you left question 2, right? You just lose the mark completely, just like that, right? And my next advice too is, don't leave the bubble sheet blank. If you're doing the exam and the lady says 1 minute left, or the invigilator says 1 minute left, and you did question 50, don't just give up and say, oh, me just gonna left it blank, only 1 minute, me can't do 1 minute. Don't do that. If you can read 51 quick, and then if she says 30 seconds, you're shading something completely random, even if you don't get to read the other questions, but don't leave no blank. Because you can probably shade A, basically from 52 go all the way to 60, you just shade A. One of them must be A, at least one of them. But if you never do that, you just lose the mark completely. So my advice, work fast. Don't leave anything unshaded. When you finish, count over the shades them. Go back on number 1 and count the paper. If you have time, read over each question and look over your answer, obviously. But if you don't have time, go over and count and make sure you see 60 things shaded. If you have 60 things shaded, you look for the question quick and try to shade something for it. But don't leave it blank. You just significantly decrease, like, you just decrease the chances of passing, or, just getting a lesser grade. But just go in there prepared, do your past paper, watch the past paper videos, make sure you get the answers. Don't just have the questions, and make sure you have the answers to the questions. Don't do just 1 year. Try to do a good amount of years, right? Because the year we do CSEC in our we do CSEC in about 2020 and 2021, both of them. But I think when I did it, I went all the way back to 2010. So at least, I made it just do like 10 years. So like 2010, come straight up, that's what I did. Now, it's all about whether or not the past papers are available for you to get, or if you can find them. But obviously not for every subject do that. But for, like, I think maybe social studies or somebody get all the way back 10 years. And that is why I tell you, say, I see 59 out of the 60 questions in the social studies exam, because I see all of them questions before. Right? And that is why I get my grade 1 in social studies. But basically, yeah, so basically, just prepare properly. Don't do just 1 year and feel like you're gonna pass. If you feel like you want to study for it, just study for it, but try and do pass papers, because that is the way to go. Everybody who has done CXC can tell it before, say that them do. So just do that. Anyways, guys, I wish you guys all the best in your exam. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.